Okay, balik po tayo sa One Morning Cafe, mga kaibigan. Alam nyo ba, meron pong 500,000 mga Pilipino ngayon na naninirahan sa Canada at nananatiling nasa top 5 tayo ng immigrant population mula pa noong 1981. Okay, so ngayong umaga po pag-uusapan natin kung ano yung mga proseso sa mga Pilipinong nais magtrabaho sa Canada. Kasi sinasabi nila, ang Amerika, punong-puno na, no? Mas maganda ngayon yung Canada, yung Australia, New Zealand, at iba pang mga bansa maliban sa Amerika. Pero marami
daw oportunidad
doon. Anyway, kasama po natin ngayon dito sa studio, Counselor Morteza Can, Immigration Consultant. Ang topic pong pag-usapan, immigration papuntang Canada. Good morning.
One morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
How are you guys?
Yeah.
Tell us, are there a lot of jobs available now for like Filipinos in Canada?
Yes, there is, because there are still some sectors in Canada that are very much in need of foreign workers. Of course, because of the economy last year and a half ago, it went down a little bit, but the demand is coming back up again, and it's looking really good.
What kind of jobs are available?
I mean, there's a huge hospitality sector still in need. There's the medical sector that is very much in need, actually. And of course, we have oil and gas that is coming back up again. But mainly that the hospitality and the food service industry, the manufacturing industries, they are in very much need.
But is it difficult to get a working visa to Canada?
It's difficult to get the process. Yes, it is quite the a process to get that work permit going, because we have to when there's an employer involved, the employer has to get approved by the federal or the Human Resources Development of Canada, and then they can apply through immigration. So it's not as easy, but it's doable. I mean, we're still we see the foreign workers all the time coming in. I process quite a few work permits for them because as a consultant, that's also part of my profession, and slowly, once they're there, I lead them to permanent residency afterward.
So, can you give us the difference between the recruitment agencies and the immigration consultants or firms? Because some of my friends really went to Canada already, and they went through the process of going to the agencies in order for them to go to Canada. So, do we have to go to the agencies or direct employment?
Okay, good question, because you see, recruitment agencies provide employment temporarily. So you might go through a recruitment agency if you wish, to go to Canada to work for a year, because right now the work permits are only allowed for 1 year.
Okay.
And then after that 1 year, if the employer is still willing to, retain you, they will apply for another work permit for you, right? Therefore, it's temporary.
Okay.
Immigration consultants, we actually provide permanent residency. Permanent residency is far more different than temporary work. I mean, they basically temporary workers do not have many rights.
Okay.
There's humanity, of course, there, but they cannot work anywhere else. They cannot live anywhere else unless the employer is moving or you get approval to work for some other company, which is another long process. But as a permanent resident, you are. I mean, the only basically it's almost a Canadian citizen.
But what are the requirements to be a permanent resident?
Okay. When we assess, or when I assess a client, it's there are two, or actually there's quite a few categories that people can apply under. I practice business class immigration. These are for people who have done well financially well in any country, and they want to do well in life in Canada. They basically have to show that they have management experience of 2 years, and they have to show that they have a net worth of $800,000. So that's a business class, just to give you an example, and they have to invest some money in. Then the second category that I'm working very closely with is the federal skilled class. Now, these are people that have education, they have English proficiency or French, adaptability gives them points. They have definitely experience is in their education that they've had. So there is a point system involved, and once they clear or once I pass them, based on those points, and if their name is on the critical occupation list that has been implemented by the federal government of Canada, then they get their fast track permanent residency, and it's within a year's time, according to Immigration Canada.
Does it cost a lot?
It's what can I say? It is costly because I know that when you compare a peso to a dollar, then
Yes.
you're talking two different. There's a big gap in between. There's the main requirement for federal skilled class is the settlement funds, and those settlement funds are usually a problem.
How much do you need if you want to be a permanent resident in Canada?
Let's put it this way: if you don't have a family, for example, for a single person, the settlement funds that the Canadian immigration required and the government requires is about $11,500
Canadian
dollars, and
That's
there's
how much in pesos if you multiply it?
about 500,000.
500,000 pesos.
That's what I've assessed it to.
More or less.
Now, there's a good reason why they charge so, or they don't charge this. This is just show money. This is settlement funds, right?
Okay.
The reason is because Canada, once you become a permanent resident, you have there's only three differences between a Canadian citizen. You don't have a passport as a Canadian passport. If you're a permanent resident, you cannot vote, and you cannot run for office. So don't expect to be running, becoming the prime minister anytime soon. But basically, those are the only three differences. So would they, and the social, services are also there for people. So once they immigrate as a permanent resident, the Canadian immigration or the government requires that they should have at least some money until they get a job and they get going. Okay, because immigration is not employment. They're two different things.
Yes.
Employment is temporary. As an immigrant, you're going there forever. And 3 years later, I process citizenship cases afterwards. I mean, a person is eligible for citizenship.
So after 3 years, the immigrant can already get his or her passport.
100%.
After 3 years,
After 3 years.
you can already run for public office.
That's right, if you like to.
We have a Filipino president in Canada.
Why not? I mean, we have. The world is becoming more and more multicultural, and the fact is that Canada is we thrive on multiculturalism. If you go to any of the cities, you will see that there is a huge population of almost every country there.
Yeah.
You cannot say that you're a Canadian or you're based on looks or based on skin or color anymore, or at least at all.
So what is important what is important here is that you have to at least get enough money, 500,000 pesos, enough for you to go there.
That is the
That's for a
important
single
thing.
person, but
For
if you have a
single person,
family, it
Then you have
should
to
be
add
higher.
3,000 more.
$3,000
Dollars more.
If you're coming with your
Almost a
kids
million
and your
pesos.
wife.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned critical occupations. There's
Yes.
38 critical occupations. What are, give us examples of critical occupations.
Top of my head, let's see. There's doctors, there's nurses, there's oil and gas engineers, construction managers, and
How about broadcasters like us, Nikki and me? Do we have windows of opportunities in Canada?
well, definitely. I mean, if what it is that if you're not on that critical list, for example,
Yeah.
then you will be required what is called an arranged employment opinion. Okay.